Okay, good morning. Okay, I want to talk about the video first, and maybe not even necessarily the video, unless you want to share about what you took away from that. But I would love to hear from you guys. Which one did you feel like you really needed to work on after you watched that video out of the four pillars, the recruiting, the retention, duplication, and leadership? Which one were you like, yeah, that's one that when I grow in this, my points will grow. Everyone's going to talk, so you might as well go.
I guess I can go. Mine, I feel like the areas that I want to work on is recruiting and retention. I feel like I'm good at recruiting when I make it a priority, just being completely honest. Um, Retention is something I feel like I have always struggled with. And so that is an area that I want to work on. However, I think that leadership and duplication is something that I'm very strong in because I poured a lot of time into it, but I definitely need to pour a little bit more of that time into areas that maybe I'm not super strong in. Thank you.
For those that just came on, we're just talking a little bit about the video, the homework for the week, and then we are going to share, everyone's just going to share which pillar they really felt like, okay, I need to work on this one after you watch that video. I know for me, I'm just going to share about the first time I watched that video. I remember watching Wendy Larson's video. I'm just going to share. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this woman is smart and I have a lot to learn from her. Like I just really it was like major aha moments for me on the leadership pillar. Because I was good at recruiting. I could recruit, I could follow the system, but the leadership pillar, I was just like, wow. And like I love that she said, what is it, people will not follow a leader that they can't see. I thought that was really good. And that taught me to start showing people how I was doing things, showing them what I was doing, how I was overcoming things. And so it really helped me understand the importance of being a visible leader. So, anyway, the leadership one was very eye opening for me.
Mine is definitely duplication, and I know it has been for like a year, over a year. Duplication, leadership, um, retention, and recruiting. Because of course I can recruit all day long, but it's just turning the people I recruit into business builders. And I know not business builders, just silvers. And I posted this yesterday. I love what Brooke Hemingway said yesterday, and it was really she was really talking towards new people, not necessarily people you recruit, but I could absolutely say this to people over the phone too that I sign up. Gosh, let me read it before I butcher it. That she pretty much said, um, oh y'all, can't remember where I put it either. Um, can I tell you more about why I do what I do and what this business could offer you? So instead of, can I tell you what I do? Can I tell you like why I do it and what it could do for you? I loved that wording.
Let me just go ahead and tell y'all, Jordan, did you develop four golds or three golds last year? Level one, four. Okay, she developed four level one goals. So
Three, sorry.
three. Okay, do not let her fool you. She gets someone that is interested. She knows how to help them. It's just the fact that she recruited almost 90 people last year, and her silver percentage was not as high as she would like. And truthfully, like I mean, if 20% is always the goal for duplication, for for every recruit that you bring in, your goal is to have 20% silver rate. And so I know that she's just putting herself on this. Uh, she's raising the bar for herself. So don't let her think that. Don't y'all listen to that and think that she's not good at what she does. Who else? everybody's sharing, so might as well go.
I'll go.
Sweet.
So I think that mine has changed multiple times. Um, like in this season, I definitely think it's recruiting. Um, because I'm consistently recruiting one person every month, and that's absolutely not where I want to be. Um, so I think recruiting and then also duplication, um, because I don't share enough about like, hey, let's grab three friends and you can have your products paid for, or you can have $300 in your pocket. So definitely recruiting and duplication for me.
Can I ask you something? I love this book so much, and I have used affirmations for years, ever since I read this book. And so, Randy, why are you going to recruit three a month every month from here on out in 2023?
So that's really funny because that's one of my affirmations that I wrote down.
Okay, perfect. Lauren, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure. Um, so it's funny because I feel like I have seasons where I'm good at all of them, and then I have seasons where I'm just like not good at all of them. And I don't want to say that I'm not good at them, I'm just not doing them. So it's like I'm very aware of that. Like I know I can recruit. Like I know if I go make a post, I can sign someone up. I know if I'm intentional, I can help that person go silver. I know my leadership capabilities are very strong, and I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, but I know that they are when I do them. Like when I step into like my full potential of leadership, like I know it's good because I've seen myself in really high leadership seasons. Um and then retention, as far as retention goes, I think retention, like that's an iffy one because you can't really hold yourself like saying I'm not very good at retention if someone just flat out says I'm not ordering again, or like their people are going to make up their minds on what they want to do. But I think the biggest thing when it comes to retention is getting that person silver. And that's what I found the like the best way to retain your people is to get them silver, or to share, make a post, or something like that. So I don't know. That's a tough. That's a hard. It's hard for me to. Probably retention is probably like the one I know I struggle with, um, because I know I'm good at the other things when I do the things. It's just I have to do the things.
Yes, yes, you are. I think retention is one of those. It's like if you're doing the system and you're doing the things and you're continuing a relationship, which is usually the piece that people miss, like they're just like becoming robots and then they're like not continuing to be at their friend.
Hmm.
Um, uh, that's really all you can do, you know? So
Yeah.
I would love to know affirmation statements that you could create, Lauren, around why you're not consistent with that. I'm very curious. Okay, anybody else want to share which pillar before we move on to the book? Okay. I love the pillars. Everything I do pretty much comes down to what level leader you are and which pillar. Like those are the things that I use all the time in my coaching and in my business, like personal business. And so I love that video. So if y'all did not get a chance to go watch that video, it's one of my all-time favorites. I remember watching it for the first time and implementing what Brooke Hemingway told me to do. And I remember going creating silvers because of what Megan told me to do. And so anyway, I love it. Taylor, do you want to take the book part?
Yeah, and I've got this like eyelash stabbing me in the eye, so just bear with me. Oh my gosh, this thing is driving me crazy. Okay, I'm gonna share something with y'all that I haven't really shared with a lot of people because, oh my gosh, this eyelash. This actually plays a big part into this chapter, and so A lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm actually dyslexic. And so for very, very many years, I avoided reading because I really struggle to read a book. I know that sounds silly, but for me, it's something that's very hard. I struggle mixing up words. I read something that sometimes isn't there, and then I get all confused and then I have to go read it again. But the other part of this for me is that I will read something and I, for the life of me, can not retain the information in my brain. Like I really have a hard time with it. So, anyways, when I started reading this chapter, I found myself kind of doing these disempowering thoughts before I even got to the part of writing down my disempowering thoughts. And so I kind of sat there for a second and I kind of put this to the test and I was like, okay, Taylor, like, what are some things that you're telling yourself about your business right now? What are some things that you're telling yourself about you and your leadership? What are some things that you're telling yourself about your ability to read a book? Like all of these things. And I wrote them down. I think it was on page, what was it, 59, the 5 most disempowering questions that I hear in my head. And y'all, when I got these down on paper, I felt real gross. Like I felt real bad. Did y'all write yours down in your book? Did you write down your 5? Okay, well, we're going to share some. So just saying. I will share with you guys one of mine, but I really want to hear what your guys's are and how you flipped them and how you felt after you did that. So one of mine is, how did I word this? I said, why is my leadership viewed as less than because I work my business differently? Y'all, this is something I have struggled with for years, and I am so much better at it now. But in the beginning stages of my business, I felt like because I was a different type of leader, because I'm more of an emotional leader, I connect more emotionally, I can get down into the nitty gritty with people. I'm not a super numbers driven, things like that. I really, for a very long time, felt like I wasn't a leader that people respected, or I wasn't a leader that people would want to follow because what's important to me, it might not necessarily be important to others. I didn't realize how big of a thing that was in my head until I got that written down on page 59. And so anyways, I'll share with y'all later on kind of how I turned these, but I really want to hear some of yours and how they made you feel. Was it something that you were even aware of before you wrote it down, or did you really have to like sit and think about it? So anyways, I would love to hear what y'all's are.
One of mine was, it's funny because we were talking about this earlier. I put, why do I feel like my leadership lid is so small?
Do you really actually feel like your leadership lid is small? Or is it just because maybe you're not doing the things or because of a season that you're in? Because I don't think your leadership lid is small.
I know. So then when I wrote the affirmation, I'm like, my leadership lid's not small. Like, why are you writing that down? What are you doing, Lauren? So I think it's just like thoughts that I have about what I am doing or what I'm not doing, which is why I like came to that question. But like, again, I wrote the affirmation and I'm like, I know my leadership lid's not small. I'm just not being my best self right now. So
yeah, and you even said that when Jordan like was talking, like you said that is like your number one strength. So like it's just funny to hear that you wrote that down, because everybody on this call, and even you, because you said it the very first time, is like, I'm really, really strong in leadership. So I might encourage you to like really sit and kind of dive into that over like the next couple of days. Like, why do you really feel that way? Because definitely stemming from something deeper, but I don't think your leadership is small. Randy Page doesn't either.
I know for a long time I had told myself that I'm not good at casting vision for people. And so one of mine was like, why am I not good at casting vision for everyone around me? And anyway, I rewrote that later, but I just feel like if everybody knew where they like what was possible, they would do it because it's that good. And I'm like, why can't I help people see that? Like, what's wrong with me? So anyway, that was one of mine. And then also a question I'm not a good pregnant person. And I am totally okay with admitting the fact that I hate being pregnant and I hate the way my body feels. And so like one of mine is like, why is my body just so different than it used to be? And like, I can't, I hate being pregnant. It's just the thing. And now I'm pregnant right after I was pregnant. And so I do not like my body right now. And I know that. And, but I also know there's a lot of things that I can be doing. So anyway, that was another one of mine.
I remember you kind of saying that too on a call that we were on. I actually very vividly remember you saying about like, why can't I help other people like cast the vision? And I'm pretty sure that they helped you make a breakthrough of like recognizing the fact that like that's not on you. Like helping people catch the vision. Like there's only so much that you can do, but that doesn't determine if you're capable. So I love that. Okay, who else?
Mine, goodness, excuse me. One of mine was, why don't people want to join my team? Like, why don't people want to do this with me? This is so fun. Um, and of course, the empowering version of that is, why do people want to join my team? Where would people find something like my team anywhere else? Um, where else would people find a team like mine? And I just smile and laugh when I think about I wrote that, because that has to do with me, right? And obviously other people's choices, but like, how do I post about my business? How do I talk about my business? Which I feel like I do always positively. Always, I feel like I'm good about posting like that. But it just makes me think like I need to pivot the way I'm doing that, because it's obviously not working, you know. And I
But
have
do you
some
actually
other,
need to pivot? Is it really posting? Like, you know what I mean? Or
yeah,
is that just like going back to chapter 2 or 3, whatever, when he's like, when you're doing things good and then you start questioning the way you're doing it. So you put your foot on the brake with the way that you have been doing it. Um, anyway, just another thought.
Jordan, I don't know if you have ever felt this way, but I know I have. Is like I never used to like question my ability as to like, well, why wouldn't like people want to join my team? Like like we're awesome. We have a great team. Like my leadership is awesome. Like you are crazy for not wanting to come here, right? Like I never used to question that until I had somebody on my team who I loved and poured into leave. And then that was like the instant that those thoughts started coming into my head. And it took me a while, but I had to just like recognize the fact that, like, again, that wasn't me. Like, that had nothing to do with me and my leadership and who I was and why people wanted to come here. But it's just like crazy to think that such an instant thing like that can create such issues in our brain. So,
Yes, I have had an incident like that, and it created almost a year and a half of me not creating another senior gold, because what I told myself was that I can't create senior golds that want this, that continue. I can't help anybody do that. And so for a year and a half after that thought was like in my head, in the back, I did not create a senior gold until Elise. And then it like unlocked all the things. I was like, oh, I can create senior golds. And then I've created probably 4 or 5 since then. So our brains are so dumb and so smart.
I want to hear from at least 2 more people because I think that there's a lot of power in getting these out there and like actually saying them. Randy Page.
I've been sitting here trying to choose like which one, which I've already shared one, so I will share a different one. One of mine is, why isn't my husband more supportive? Which also, like how y'all have said, like that's not exactly all on me. It is, but it isn't. Like there are things that I could be doing, but also I can't control him no matter how much I want to. So yeah, that's one of mine.
Can I share something with you? I remember my husband, granted, for the most part, has always been fairly supportive of like what I've done, but there have been seasons where he has made snide comments. And I know Jordan and I have had these conversations too about like, well, you're always on your phone, or like you're always in your office doing this. And like your paycheck isn't equivalent to like the time that like you are spending away. And there was a time in my business where he said something like that to me, and I took it very personal until I looked at myself and I realized that I wasn't doing the things to kind of bring in the income that would be like when my husband would look at it, he would be like, I understand why you're gone. Like, I understand why you're in your office. I understand like while you're on the phone. And so for me, that was kind of like a reality check for me too. Like, am I telling my husband that this is a big deal and then I'm just not showing up and doing the things? And I'm not saying that's where you are. I'm just saying that like that's where I was. And that's something that I kind of had to like check on myself. Um, um, okay. So does anybody else want to share before we move on? Nope. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm at work,
yes,
y'all.
Marilyn,
I'm like way at work. So, yeah, one of my biggest ones is, why does my husband not support? Which he's never supported ever. So I just had to kind of get over that and go, okay, fine, you don't support, but I'm doing it anyway. So I had to do that. And then my other thing is, why can I recruit customers, but I can't grow them? Why? I don't know. Because I have one new VIP this month. Actually, I have two new VIPs this month. I have one new customer this month, but none of them want the business. They just want product. So it's like, how do you turn them around?
I mean, I'm just curious. Why do you think that you can't grow them? Because
I
you
don't
can't.
know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what my barrier is. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is my barrier?
Do you feel, what is the word? Do you feel equipped to lead them to where they want to be?
So I don't know. Maybe I'm not equipped to do that kind of leadership. I lead 150 people in an emergency department, and we lead them well, but I don't know. I should be able to lead these people too. And I don't know if it's because I'm up close with these people and I can like sit them down and go, hey, here's the deal. And most of the people that have joined my team don't live anywhere close to me. So there's that personal aspect, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I think you're a great leader, and I think I would just encourage you to maybe dive into that a little bit more, because I think you do know. I think if you sit and like really try to think about it, I think you do know. Yeah, I just want to encourage you to really think on that. Jordan, do you have any other thoughts?
I just know Marilyn way too well. And I know when in the past, when she has developed people, I know what she was doing and how she was thinking and how confident she was in her business and how many videos she was watching a week. And so I know that if she got confident again in herself and her ability via watching videos, doing all the IPA, like I know the confidence that that brings out in you. So that's all I'm going to say.
I agree. And two, anytime I've never felt confident in my business, it's because I'm avoiding something. So like, what are you avoiding? Is the other question that I would ask you. Okay. Sorry. Okay. We only have like a couple of minutes left. So when y'all wrote down your empowering thoughts, after you kind of felt all the feels of writing down this junk, is basically what we're going to call it, because that's what it is. It's junk. How did these make you feel? Because my empowering thought was, why is my leadership so inspiring to others? Why is it respected and why is it gravitated towards? I don't know about y'all, but that made me feel a whole heck of a lot better when I said that out loud rather than why is it not viewed as, highly. Some other things that I wrote down is why am I such a patient and calm mom, right? Sometimes I don't feel like I'm very patient. So why am I such a great mom? Why am I so patient? How did these make you feel when you like really sat and wrote these down? Did this make you feel more encouraged? Did it make you feel better? Where did you guys go from your first thought to this thought?
Really dang good and empowered.
Yes. What did you write down?
I put, why is my leadership lid so big? I'm like, damn right, it's big.
Yeah, and you just showed up way different when you said that. Did you see that? Like, you were like smiling and happy.
I
Yes.
know. It was so stupid. I was writing these last night and I was like, why did my mood just all of a sudden shift? I was like, that's really freaking weird, but I'm kind of digging it.
I'm also really curious, Lauren, because one of the points of this exercise is like, so when you write these new empowering questions, your brain is supposed to be just start answering the question, why is your leadership so big?
Mhm.
Why is your leadership lid? So like, why is your leadership lid so big? I'm just want to know what comes to mind. Like, I know for me, I started like creating this list of things and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a lot of it's because I have poured into self-development over the past few years.
Yeah.
And I've done things out of my comfort zone and I've listened to training videos, and then I think some of it is honestly just like a gift that I've been given because I know I have different leadership gifts that weren't learned. I don't think. I mean, I think it was just some of it comes natural to me. So, but I think the majority of it is for sure just pouring into self-development, honestly.
Is it fun when you tap into the ones that come natural to you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I'm like, because it's really cool because like that's something that I have that somebody else wasn't given, but somebody else was given something that I don't have. I'm like, that's really cool too,
Yeah.
And that's something that I really encourage my team to do is like to find their gift and like really lean into it. And if they don't lean into it, I'm like, why are you not? Because you are the only person that has this. Nobody else does. And Randy Page is sitting there like, yeah, she does do that.
Jordan, what did you write down? Because you shared yours. I would love to hear your empowering question that you wrote down.
Yeah, I just said, why am I doing exactly what I need to do to lead my team? Instead of I can't cast vision for them, I chose to focus on the things that I am doing to help you guys be successful. And it made me much more encouraged knowing that there is a list of things that I do that doesn't even benefit really my personal level one business, And so that really helped me.
Yeah, I love how, where is this? On page 62, I love how he said, the human mind operates by asking and answering questions. Therefore, when you, Therefore, when you ask yourself a question repeatedly, your mind must search for an answer to your question. And that just like really, I mean, I feel like this whole chapter just is like very much kind of like repetitive in that way, but like it has made me so aware now that like when I wake up in the morning, what questions am I asking myself? What am I telling myself? So I think like really what this chapter has just done for me is it's really just allowed me to be way more mindful to the things that are going on in between my ears. So anyways, there's one last thing I wanted to tell y'all and now I cannot find it. Where did it go? Hang on.
Can I tell you one thing really quick, Taylor?
Go for it.
One of the questions that I wrote down was really cool because, like I said, whenever I started writing these questions down, I started answering them. So, like, one of them was, why am I making $60,000 a month? And I was like, oh. And it, like, first off, it felt doable when I wrote it down. And then I started, like, figuring it out in my brain. And it was, I don't know, it was a really fun, empowering question to write down. So if you didn't write down any questions around money, I would encourage you to do that because it was really a fun one.
I did not write down anything in regards to money. So maybe I'll go write one down. Okay, I don't think that I really have anything else to add here. I just wanted to tell y'all that when I wrote down these questions, these disempowering ones in my brain, the only thing that came to my mind was like, man, Satan must feel real good right now. Like, that's literally what I thought, because like, I know that this is not how God looks at me. I know that this is not how he sees me. And I also know that this is not the truth about myself. And this is not the truth about any of y'all. And then when I flipped the page and I wrote down my empowering questions, it felt like a breath of fresh air. It kind of just felt like, this is how I'm supposed to like look at myself. And so anyways, I just really want to encourage y'all that over the next week, if you guys find yourself asking yourself these questions, why is my leadership lid not so big? Why can't I recruit? Why can't I duplicate all of these things? Like, I just kind of want you to think about that as like Satan in your head trying to get in there and steal all the things that God has already given you as a gift. Because when I think about it that way, it allows me to really jump out of that mindset really fast and start asking myself the real questions about myself. And so anyways, that's all that we had for this morning. Does anybody else have anything to add before we hop off?
This also made me, I just thought about this now. I wasn't thinking about this when I was reading about a coaching call I watched from Emily Gibson, and I know other Plexus women do this as well. The thoughts, feeling, actions, results. Like, your thoughts always, and Jordan has said this too. Oh goodness. Your thoughts always you know, I don't know. Okay. Thoughts, actions, feelings, results. There it is.
Yeah, I think we knew what you were trying to say. My kids keep busting into it's fine. And that's when I lost my train of thought. So it's all good. Okay, y'all. Well, thank you guys for being on. And then we'll be back on in like an hour and a half for the rest of y'all's teams. So thank y'all. Bye.